Richard Buckley here, MilfordMD. Morning again. The project this morning is to do upper eyelid blepharoplasty, followed by a brow lift. And I've just completed the blepharoplasty on this right side, and there are dissolving stitches in there, very, very fine, about the size of a human hair and kind of camel in color, so they blend in very nicely. How far out we go on these incisions, and thus how much skin we remove laterally, depends upon how much lateral hooding there is. As patients have more and more skin out in this area, it's useful to come out a little bit farther on. Good morning, Dr. Richard Buckley here at MilfordMD. This morning's project is to do a lateral subcutaneous temporal brow lift, that's to say a forehead lift, and also an upper eyelid blepharoplasty. If we're going to do those both at the same time, then I prefer to do the upper eyelid pinch, that's the blepharoplasty first, and then follow that by making my little incision up here to get some elevation of the forehead. If we do them as separate events, I prefer to do the brow lift first, get the eyebrow position set where we want it, and then at a later date do the upper eyelids. Our patient's forehead, as with kind of all of our foreheads with time, it's descended. It's called browtosis with a P, P-T-O-S-I-S. And then the eyebrows themselves, instead of being up above the orbital rim, as it's called, the edge of the bone, they start descending down. They get on top of it and maybe even below it. Our patient's eyebrow here is actually sitting below the edge of the skull here, the bony orbit. Ideally, it would be sitting more like this. I've done some measuring and calculated that it's about a centimeter down as compared with what an ideal position would be. And I've made markings up here in the hairline that will correspond with me elevating that appropriate amount, roughly a centimeter on each side. Sometimes sides are different, so one needs to scope that all out and take that into consideration. The upper eyelids with time get dermatochalasis, they bag out, they get extra skin. And it's not about taking off all the skin you can, nor is it about elevating the eyebrows into some crazy position. All of this is artwork, and it wants to look age appropriate, like a younger version of the person that we're working for, perhaps 15 years younger, 25 years younger, something like that. It shouldn't look like somebody else. Aha. And I hear some aha, oh, that sounds good, right? And so now our viewers are seeing that you're also awake, yes?
Yes, I'm awake.
And comfortable.
Very comfortable.
And super excited.
Oh my God. Very excited.
All right. And as is the team here, we're excited to help you achieve your goals. There is an amount of skin that one wants to not take out, but be sure to leave between the eyebrows and the edge of the lid, the tarsal edge, which is roughly about 20 millimeters. So up until that 20 millimeter point, leaving that 20 millimeters, one can take out whatever seems appropriate in between. I've made the proposed incision line here just a tad above the natural crease or the sulcus. And then I've come down here a bit, and where the texture of the skin kind of changes is roughly where I've made my upper marking. Been very conservative as well. One can always go back and trim off a little more some other day if one wanted. You can't put it back very easily though, so you never ever want to overdo these kinds of things. The workflow today, I've numbed this area. You can see it's a little bit whitish here. That's from the epinephrine in the lidocaine numbing. We're going to make a little incision, take this little strip of skin off, sew that back up, do the same on that side. Then I will show you doing the brow lifting after that as well. Okay, so time for me to go to work, and thank you for watching MilfordMD, as it is. MilfordMD, Dr. Richard Buckley here. Remember, today's project was doing upper eyelid blepharoplasty. It's an example of one side that's done. There's some little dissolving stitches there. These are chilled ice gauze pads just to help minimize swelling. There should be an image, a still image, somewhere in today's offerings that will show you the right hairline of the scalp, and you can see that I've already completed and closed up you can turn your head a little that way for me. It closed up the incision on this side. You can turn back over for me. Okay. If you look here, this eyebrow is actually down, but you can see if I do this, I'm elevating it. Normally, if you just lift on the skin without doing something underneath, nothing from way down below is going to go up. But you'll notice if I grab this little skin here, this flap, and if I lift up on that, you can see that it's lifting all the way along. I've marked out what I plan to take out, which is this line here to here. I have not cut it yet because I'm going to make sure it's exactly what I want before I excise it, but it was exactly right on the other side, so probably exactly right on this side. Also, this edge is not a simply curvilinear edge. It's more of a geometric curvilinear edge. In other words, it's scalloped. It goes up and down and up and down. So if you put two lines together or even two curvilinear things together like that, the resultant scar is going to be more easily noticed than if you make something, zigzag like that. So I've also not made the incision straight in, but I've put it on a hyper bevel, maybe about 15, 20 degrees from the skin, transecting the hair follicles in what's known as a trichophytic incision and hence trichophytic closure. So what that means is this skin that's right here is going to slide up onto this skin here, much like that, and it's going to be sliding up on top of hair follicles which have been transected like this, and those hair follicles are going to grow right up through the little serpentiginous geometric incision that I made, and all those things help camouflage things a lot. With this procedure, a key thing to decide is where I'd like to put the incision. Of course, nice if you have no incision, but if you need one, you have to put it somewhere. Our patient has, as she describes it, a high forehead, and if there's a high forehead, then you can think about taking some of the forehead skin as part of the procedure. For people that have a low forehead or a normally sized forehead, then the entire incision would be back of, in other words, posterior to the anterior hairline, so there isn't actually any incision even to be seen because it's as great as it is, it's still hidden by the hair. This one is going to be right at the front of the hairline, and so we'll need to rely on its crafting for it to look great. So you're awake, yes?
Yes, I'm very much awake.
And
And very comfortable. Didn't feel anything. No pain. I can't believe you can do this with no pain.
I was going to ask her some questions, but
You may. You may ask.
no, you're answering everything I might have asked you. So you've been comfortable. We've been listening to music and actually chatting a lot about life and kids and future plans and that sort of thing, right?
And joking.
And joking, some of which you didn't find funny.
Some of which I don't think I got.
Yeah,
Could it be that? Yeah.
maybe too much numbing.
Yeah, maybe numbing into the brain.
Okay. So you're kind of surprised that you
I am absolutely shocked
Mhm.
that this can all be done this way without being asleep.
Yeah. And in fact, tomorrow you're back for more, yes?
I sure am.
What are we going to do tomorrow?
We're going to do my neck, and I guess that's what we're doing, right?
Aren't we doing
Neck
a
and the
facelift?
bottom, yes, and the bottom facelift, yes.
Well, yeah,
Yes,
so
the
we're doing a
facelift.
facelift
Yeah, okay.
with a central course of platysmoplasty tomorrow. So
All
it's
right.
not just the neck lift.
Okay.
At least that's what
Yes,
I
that is what
yeah,
we are doing.
That's what we talked
Yes.
about. All right.
We're doing a facelift with neck lift, major neck lift.
Well, there you go. And
A gobble get rid of.
yeah. And so we're going to do some of that live tomorrow as well, and just show people
That would be perfect.
how you feel and what you think.
I would be more than happy to.
All right, sounds good.
I am thrilled.
All right. Guys, thank you for watching MilfordMD. It's Dr. Richard Buckley and team.